Roloff Civil War. It's over. Amy kicks Chris out after unforgivable betrayal with Matt. Little People, Big World's most shocking split sends shockwaves through Roloff Farms and beyond. The breaking point. For years, Amy Roloff believed she had found stability and joy in her second marriage to Chris Merrick. After a high-profile divorce from Matt Roloff, fans watched Amy's slow and steady journey toward healing. Chris appeared to be the man who supported her dreams, respected her independence, and helped her navigate the post-divorce era. But according to multiple insiders, the fairy tale began to crumble months ago, and last week, it completely collapsed. On the evening of August 8th, Amy reportedly told Chris to pack his bags and leave their Hillsborough home. The reason? An unforgivable betrayal involving none other than her ex-husband, Matt Roloff. The secret meetings. According to a source close to the Roloff family, the drama began with a series of business meetings between Chris and Matt. At first, Amy didn't think much of it, the insider explains. Chris sometimes helped Matt with small projects on Roloff Farms, especially during pumpkin season. But this was different. These meetings weren't about farm work. Amy reportedly discovered text messages and emails suggesting Chris was advising Matt on selling part of Roloff Farms to an outside developer, a plan Amy strongly opposed. She's always been protective of the farm's legacy, the source continues. The idea that Chris was secretly working with Matt and keeping it from her felt like a knife in the back. The confrontation. The confrontation reportedly happened in the kitchen of Amy's home. Neighbors claim they heard raised voices, and one person familiar with the incident described it as the loudest argument they've ever had. Amy told Chris straight to his face, "I can forgive mistakes, but I cannot forgive betrayal, especially with Matt," says the insider. Chris tried to explain, but she wasn't having it. By the end of the night, Chris was loading boxes into his pickup truck while Amy sat at the dining table, visibly shaken. Matt's role. Fans have long speculated about lingering tension between Amy and Matt, but this latest chapter adds a new layer. Matt, who has been engaged to Karen Chandler since 2023, allegedly saw Chris as a useful ally. Matt's been struggling to sell the remaining part of the farm, a source claims. He thought Chris could convince Amy to soften her stance. Instead, the plan blew up spectacularly. Amy sees this as collusion, plain and simple, says the insider. It's not just about land. It's about trust. She feels Matt exploited Chris to get what he wanted. The fallout. Within hours of Chris leaving, the Roloff family group chats reportedly lit up with messages. Zach Roloff, who has had his own disagreements with Matt over the farm, is said to be furious at Chris. Tori Roloff posted a cryptic Instagram story. "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." Meanwhile, Karen Chandler has kept quiet, but friends say she is caught in the middle and trying to keep her engagement to Matt out of the firing line. Amy speaks out. 2 days later, Amy posted a video on Instagram thanking fans for their support. She didn't name Chris directly, but her message was clear. Sometimes people you trust make choices that hurt you deeply. And when that happens, you have to decide if you can still share your life with them. I've made my decision. The video, which has over 300,000 views, was flooded with comments from supportive fans. "You deserve better," Amy wrote one follower. "Chris, we thought you were different," posted another. Chris's side of the story. Chris, for his part, has denied any malicious intent. In an exclusive statement to a gossip outlet, he said, "I was trying to help Matt and Amy find common ground on the farm issue. I never meant to go behind Amy's back. I'm heartbroken that she feels betrayed." However, sources say Amy isn't buying it. She feels like he's playing the victim, claims the insider. But to her, the damage is done. The Roloff family split. The Roloff clan is now more divided than ever. Some family members are quietly siding with Chris, believing he made an honest mistake. Others think Amy's reaction is justified. Zach reportedly told friends, "If he's willing to work with Dad behind Mom's back, what else is he willing to do?" Public backlash. Fans are already taking sides online. The hashtag Team Amy began trending in LPBW fan groups, while a smaller but vocal stand with Chris movement has emerged. Some viewers even speculate that this real-life drama could become a major storyline if Little People, Big World returns for another season. What's next? Amy has reportedly contacted her lawyers to begin divorce proceedings. Chris has moved into a rental property nearby, but is said to be considering relocating out of state. Matt, meanwhile, has remained mostly silent, posting only a vague message on Instagram. Sometimes life throws curveballs. All you can do is keep moving forward. More flashback scenes showing Amy and Chris's relationship history. Detailed insider quotes about Matt's secret plan. A full emotional timeline leading to the split. Family reaction segments for Zach, Tori, Karen, Jeremy, and Audrey. Fan speculation and impact on the TLC show's future. Amy Roloff had been married to Chris Merrick for just over 4 years, and by all public accounts, their marriage looked rock solid. They laughed together on Instagram Lives, rode motorcycles through Oregon's scenic backroads, and hosted cozy gatherings at Amy's Hillsborough home. Fans saw a love story that seemed to rise from the ashes of her divorce from Matt Roloff. But according to multiple sources close to the Roloff circle, the trouble started quietly months ago. Chris, who had kept a respectful distance from most Roloff business matters, began showing up at Roloff Farms more frequently, and not just for casual visits. It started with Matt asking Chris for advice on a small renovation project, says one insider. Then it turned into regular sit-downs about the farm's future. Amy had no idea how deep those conversations went. For Amy, who still holds emotional ties to the farm despite selling her share, any talks about selling or redeveloping the property were deeply personal. She had always believed Chris understood that. But he didn't just talk about it, he reportedly helped Matt plan it. The hidden plan. In June, Matt allegedly approached Chris with a proposal, help him pitch a lucrative sale of the back half of Roloff Farms to a high-end winery developer. Matt's reasoning? The project would bring in millions, give him a clean slate financially, and finally put the farm drama to rest. Sources claim Chris agreed to hear him out, and that's when things took a turn. Chris thought he could be the mediator between Matt and Amy, the source says. But instead of keeping her in the loop, he kept everything to himself. That's where he crossed the line. Over the next 2 months, Chris met Matt at least 7 times, sometimes in person at the farm's North Barn office, sometimes at a quiet corner table in a Hillsborough cafe. Emails and texts between the two men later discovered by Amy reportedly included property maps, zoning paperwork, and financial forecasts. Amy's name appeared in several messages not as a participant, but as an obstacle. The discovery. The betrayal came to light one Tuesday evening in late July. Chris was in the shower when a new email notification popped up on his tablet in the kitchen. Amy, grabbing it to check a recipe she'd saved earlier, saw the subject line. Updated winery proposal, notes on Amy's position. She clicked. Inside was a spreadsheet detailing the farm sale plan and a bulleted list of talking points for how Chris could bring Amy around. It included lines like, frame it as protecting her from farm maintenance headaches. Stress the financial windfall for her legacy projects. Amy froze. Her hands shook. In her mind, this wasn't just business, this was Matt and Chris strategizing how to manipulate her. The kitchen showdown. When Chris emerged from the shower, still towel-drying his hair, Amy was waiting at the kitchen island with the tablet open. Witnesses, namely, a neighbor who happened to drop by mid-argument, described the scene as tense enough to cut with a knife. I trusted you. Amy's voice cracked, according to the neighbor. Of all the people in my life, you knew exactly what that farm means to me, and you went behind my back with him? Chris tried to explain, insisting he was only trying to help bridge the gap between her and Matt. Bridge the gap? Amy shot back. You were paving the road for him to bulldoze my history. By the end of the heated exchange, Amy's voice had gone cold. Pack your things, Chris. You're leaving tonight. Chris leaves. It was close to midnight when Chris loaded his truck with hastily packed boxes, clothes, tools, motorcycle gear. He reportedly slept in his truck that night at a rest stop outside Beaverton before renting a small furnished apartment the next day. The Roloff circle exploded with speculation. By morning, Zach had called his mother, Tori had sent a flurry of supportive texts, and Jeremy, who rarely gets involved in his parents' drama, told a friend, This is worse than anything we saw growing up. Matt's silence. Matt Roloff, meanwhile, stayed silent for 48 hours. When he finally spoke to a local reporter, his answer was vague. Amy and I have had our differences for years. What happened between her and Chris is their business. But behind closed doors, sources say Matt was rattled. He thought Chris would be the one person who could soften Amy's stance, the insider explains. Now he's lost an ally and maybe even a friend. Karen caught in the middle. Karen Chandler, Matt's fiancée, is said to be desperate to keep her own name out of the crossfire. Friends claim she has been urging Matt to distance himself from the entire winery project until the family dust settles.